This week feels heavy and dark because of the war that's broken out in Israel. And we have two things to offer you to help you cope with that. One, pictures of a kitten, and two, comedy. Our hearts may be heavy and sick with the weight of all the atrocities, and sometimes all you can do is kitten pics and making fun of goobers. Luckily, there are still plenty of goobers in the world to make fun of, so here we go. Let's talk about how one of our branches of government stopped functioning. After Kevin McCarthy was axed as House Speaker, the race was on for a new one. It was a battle between Jim Jordan, the guy that knows how to speak Parseltongue to the Freedom Caucus but was too much of a fan of child molestation for a clear majority, or Steve Scalise, who is slightly less crazy but also once described himself as David Duke without all the baggage. Two terrific options. Trump wanted Jordan, so they went with Scalise, and I'm genuinely terrified of what happens if they start doing the opposite of whatever Trump wants. I don't want these guys to start winning elections again. Some had suggested that Trump himself should be the speaker, which is hilarious, but not nearly as hilarious as the people who want to vote Kevin McCarthy back in. Imagine you went through the longest interview process ever, then you got hired, then you got fired because of a crazy dude, then your firing ground the entire company to a halt, and then they hired you back and sat you right next to the crazy dude and told you both to get back to work. Hollywood, if you don't make this sitcom, I will. In the end, Scalise got the nomination. Jim Jordan graciously endorsed him. And then, time to put it to a vote. Should be easy, right? Well, not exactly. Scalise was struggling to find the vote, so Republicans met behind closed doors on Thursday, and that meeting was so productive and went so well that Steve Scalise said, "Nah, screw this, I'm out." Honestly, smartest thing he's ever done. So now the process starts all over again because Jim Jordan sure as heck doesn't have the votes. In fact, no one does. One lawmaker said, you could put Jesus Christ up for Speaker of the House and he still wouldn't get 217. Yeah, that guy's a frickin' hippie. So what comes next? Do they give more power to the interim speaker or try to move forward with Jim Jordan, or maybe Majority Whip Tom Emmer takes a crack at it? Or maybe there's a fate worse than all of that. Working with Democrats. Meanwhile, a huge chunk of the government remains at a standstill, held hostage by a few extremists. And you know what? I happen to agree with them. Now is the moment for some bold new leadership, and we have the perfect candidate. A candidate that speaks to the tackiness and bad choices of the MAGA crowd. Meet the brand new Crocs Classic cowboy boots. They're pointless, flashy, fail to function in any way promised, appeal exclusively to the short attention span crowd, and if you still aren't convinced that they've got what it takes to succeed in Republican leadership, they can be fitted with croc balls. Gavel me in! Oh, okay, you're having some big feelings today, aren't you? You need some more kittens? There you go. One notable holdout in the House Speaker race is George Santos. Thank goodness we can always laugh about George Santos, who tweeted that he would vote for anyone but Steve Scalise. His fellow Republicans responded by making a list of things that they care more about than George Santos's opinion. Global warming, the welfare of post-birth children, the rights of women, a lot of good stuff on that list. You see, George Santos is in trouble again. This time he's been charged with stealing the identity of his donors and then using their credit cards to rack up charges. And I gotta ask, who is donating to George Santos at this point? Geez, were you like, well, Bernie Madoff's not running for anything and this money's gotta go somewhere. George Santos it is. When asked if he was willing to lose his seat in Congress over McCarthy's ouster, Matt Gaetz said, absolutely. Of course, this was met with much skepticism from those many, many, many people who see Gaetz as a bargain basement Jeffrey Epstein with delusions of adequacy, who most people trust like they trust a fart while jogging, but maybe now he is a man-child of his word. Matt, now's your chance to show us all, so prove us wrong and quit politics. Maybe go make a new line of gas station boner pills or something. And while you're at it, maybe stay away from anyone under the age of 18. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose primary legacy has been wacky anti-vax conspiracy theories and being a 69-year-old swole bro, has left the Democratic Party to run as an independent candidate for president. He is expected to draw voters who don't care if people die from COVID and love seeing an old guy's nipples. RFK Jr., leaving the Democratic primary, has freed up a spot for Cenk Uyghur to run against Joe Biden. Cenk is a popular YouTuber from the Young Turks, and Cenk, if you're assembling the first YouTuber government, let me know if you need a VP. I'm very organized, I'm great at ribbon cuttings, and I'm like a slightly less cranky Selena Meyer. And of course, Mr. Beast should be Secretary of Health and Human Services. A naked selfie of 69-year-old Frank Biden, President Joe Biden's younger brother, has appeared online. Reached for comment, RFK Jr. said, "Hey, I'm the only old guy doing topless stuff, all right? Stay in your lane." Donald Trump is arguing in court that he was not required to support the Constitution as president. "How can I be expected to support something I've never heard of? I looked through my boxes, my beautiful boxes of classified documents, didn't see it in there." Trump is also suggesting that the Obamas are secretly controlling things in the White House and that Joe Biden is acting as their puppet. In response, President Biden, who currently has only a 40% approval rating compared to Obama's average of 48%, said, "Yes, that's right. Obama's the guy in charge. You can all relax now." The Alaskan fishing industry seems to be aging out as young folks don't want the dangerous job. In response, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas has offered to extend her efforts at lowering the legal working age to help out Alaska, saying she'd be willing to send them a couple of crates of kids to use. Sanders went on to brag that Arkansas children have very small hands that can really get into those tight engine areas. They're easily stackable, and they make good bait if they get too lippy. In more bad news for fish, 128 Grazer has won Fat Bear Week by chowing down on a bunch of salmon. This was a massive victory for a massive bear, but an even bigger victory for people who like to distract themselves from gut-wrenchingly bad news by focusing on heartwarming stories about cute animals. Here, have another kitten pic. Jada Pinkett Smith says that she and Will Smith have been separated for the past 7 years, but haven't gotten divorced. She said that their relationship is based on mutual love and respect and never ever being in the same room together. Way to keep the spark alive, you two crazy kids. Crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend threw him so far under the bus that he came out from under that bus before winding up under a second bus, which was then driven over by a third bus. She said that he was the one who told her to do crimes, which made me wonder, why did these two break up again? According to her, it's because he didn't pay enough attention to her. So, criminals, time to go check on your girl. Maybe take her out for dinner somewhere nice and don't tell her anything incriminating. The mistress of former Spanish King Juan Carlos lost her harassment case against him in the English courts. King Charles responded by asking the mistress for her phone number because Juan said she gives good head of state. The economy is so bad in China that some 20-somethings are opting to move back in with their parents and become full-time children. Let's see, that job description is live at home with your parents and do whatever you want. Hell yeah, I'm taking that job. In the US, that job is called getting yelled at by your parents for living at home and doing nothing. China's awesome. The Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to Dr. Claudia Golden for her research into the global gender pay gap. Dr. Golden was awarded 77% of her prize, with the rest being conditional on smiling more. A Missouri woman was placed on leave from her job as a high school English teacher after the school administration was alerted to her OnlyFans page. She says she knew the risks of doing this kind of work, but still, she feels that even though there is a very real stigma associated with the job, and she only made a little bit of money at it, teaching was worth the risk as a way she could give back to her community. A woman who tried to smuggle giraffe poop to make a necklace was busted at the airport. Darling, have you thought about maybe using, I don't know, beads? According to scientists, there are more than 2 million fungi species waiting to be discovered. In response, Hasbro has released a new mushroom discovery board game called Dinner, Death, or Tripping Balls. Fun for the surviving family. At a recent Formula One event in Qatar, it was so hot that drivers were vomiting in their helmets and almost passing out, which can be a problem when you're driving a car very, very fast. For more on this, we go to our chief motorsports correspondent, Mike Dynamo, who was outside Formula One headquarters.
Thanks, Andrea.
Mike, what's being done to protect these drivers from excessive heat?
The governing body for Formula One has been meeting today, and they've decided to hold future races in cooler locations than Qatar. Some of the locations proposed include the seventh circle of hell, the inside of a tire fire, and Satan's asshole after an extra spicy plate of hot wings.
Those all sound like much better choices.
Yes, they all voted unanimously to adopt the proposal after puking onto their loafers. The drivers are all said to be very relieved, and they're headed to Taco Bell to get something to settle their tum-tums.
Sounds terrific. Glad it all worked out. Thanks for being here, Mike. Now, Mike Dynamo is more than just our chief motorsports correspondent. He's also an incredible musician. After having a brain tumor removed, Mike came back better than ever with his new album, The Cancer Chronicles, which is available now on Bandcamp. And I would urge everyone to go download it now. We have a link in the description below. Here is the music video for his new single, Space Me Baby. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mike Dynamo.
Inside the freaky, leaving nothing back. Made for being terrible, half the time unbearable. Other half I'm putting on your ring like I just married you. What's the difference if you wanna get with this? With those pelvic muscles being sensitive, where the senses be building you for that lady tussle. I cannot believe you wanna christen boats for slippery moves. Sounds to me like I should spend more time trying to get to know you. Incidentally, we've been witnessing something keeping me out. Place the back of me where she's tracking me. See if I'ma get round. Wipe the chloroform on the napkin and put it over my face. Drag me back to their hideout where I'll finally see space. Hey, floating out in the middle of everything and feeling the greatest in ecstasy. It's amazing. I just really got pissed though. Do I really give a shit? I could not stay tired of this. I had too much fun like I was funkin' for the fuck of it. It's never the same unless you're ready where you play. Hey, it's never that crazy unless you finally split the system. Hey, it's never that crazy unless you finally leave the lazy. Hey, it's never that foul unless you break them all down. Hey, it's another chance to beat the cancer. Let's stay high on that. Brace yourself to take it, baby. Life's too short for holding back. Incidentally, we've been witnessing something keeping me out. Place the back of me where she's tracking me. See if I'ma get roused. Wipe the chloroform on the napkin and put it over my face. Drag me back to her hideout where I'll finally see space. Hey.
That wraps up this week's news report. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're really close to hitting 3,000, and make sure you turn on those notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.